Good day, everyone. I hope we are doing fine. Hope we have a great day. This morning I just finished the live section, not quite long, and today is Sunday. The moment I was done with what I need to do, when I woke up in the morning, one of the right thing I could do was just to focus on doing what do I call it, a live program every Sunday. I got certain audience, and then right now I had to sleep and I wake up. Things kind of sound good. But while I was inside, when I woke up, I was a little bit, um, I'll just say everybody gets tired now sometimes. So I was tired. I just said, let me come under this tree. Make I even come sit down. I beg you, Rumbo. Eh, 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 eh. There are a few things I would have even loved to touch on while I wait some audience to join me. There's a possibility I might share the conversation today right now, or I might come back later and discuss because the thing tends to be very interesting. When I came under this tree today to sit down, I remembered about this tree. Every time I come close to this tree, there's a memory of me attached to this tree at my back. And some people, when I come on live and I speak, some people might think, maybe I'm talking about the tree basically because um, it gives a good look. To some people, I've heard it that they say, you're under a tree and the tree tends to be beautiful. And for me, it's not about the beauty when I come under the tree. In fact, my studio, I have places that are more beautiful, but I love the idea of being under a tree, because whatever your part of the things that you kind of plant or you do with your hands, there's something that is part of you that is attached to those things. And I think some of us, we are not really aware of those things. There's a reason why sometimes I'm careful even with what I rear, because the moment I start rearing certain animals as a person, I kind of find it difficult to eat whatever animal I rear. And the reason is because I kind of developed something that's within myself. There's a conscious side of me that feels attached to that particular thing. And then as I get attached to it, I find it very difficult to do anything that will most likely hurt that particular stuff. And so the same thing is now applicable when it comes to the idea of me being under the tree or coming to this place. There's part of me that is attached to this place, this particular environment. I don't understand anything about the spiritual world when it comes to the idea of after death. I can only say that I believe that humans still exist even after death, but I haven't experienced it. So I cannot tell you that, oh, this is what happens after death. Your loved ones will come back and the rest of it. I have my experience, so many experience that I can't share with the world, because regardless, the question is, does it change anything about the world? Does it change the perceptions the world have about us? So some experience is just good. You keep it to yourself. Talk to your children about it. But just understand that humans will be humans, and what is in front of them is only what they know. And I always encourage certain individuals that not everything you go through in life you have to share it with the world. not everything you go through in life, but share the things that you think the world can actually resonate with. So that's what I'm doing. Now, there's a story behind this tree, this specific tree. There's a story behind it. I, the first time I planted this tree was in 2019, around December 2019. I've been looking for the tree everywhere. When I came to the estate, when I first of all got my property, I was outside kind of looking for other places where I can get property from and the rest of it. So I got used to, there's a place they call Borogun, a place where there are villagers there. And those villagers always come to us, they try to patronize us. In fact, we call them Omonile, and they have few things. So I started associating myself with them. You have to be a friend. This is where my family would stay. And I was associating myself with these individuals. And there came a particular season where they introduced certain apples to me and my wife. The apple tends to be an African apple. This particular tree is an African apple. And when they brought it to us during that time, I was like, okay, we tasted it and it makes sense. It was cool. And my wife, we were asking them, how much does it take to plant this kind of stuff, or have this kind of stuff, or if we want to buy, how many can you give us? We saw that out of their out of their hearts, all they were willing to do was to just give. They were not even thinking of selling. And to me, it's brought to my understanding. I like, okay, these people are just willing to give us apple and they're not willing to sell. I'm like, okay, let me go and see the tree. So I went into the village. And when I went into the village, I saw the trees and I stood under the tree. I looked, so many apples, a lot of things going on at the same time. The apples were so much. The birds were feeding, whatever falls, the chicken comes, turkey were eating, all kinds of people. Humans were eating abundance. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting. Is it the same Mother Earth that produced stuff like this? And it's kind of boils down and reminds me of few things I used to have in Lagos. Like, this was exactly what I wanted in my life. Something that I can work and I can see the result of what I work. And then I made a decision. I said, please, can you give me some apple trees? I want to plant. They gave me about 6 of them. Out of the 6 apple trees they gave to me, this was the only one that existed at the end of the day. Now, I think I have one. That one is already growing, but I got that one from a different place. But this specific apple tree, let me say out of 5, this was the apple tree that grew up. So since 2019, that was when I planted this particular tree. And whenever I come close to it, it draw my attention. I kind of have it draws my attention and it gives me this memory of when I was planting it. It was very little, and I saw some of them died. Charles Boonleb, hello, how you doing, sir? Hope you're having a great Sunday. So I realized it actually growing on its own, and I watered it. I think I watered it for about 2 months. Yeah, well done. It's a great thing. You're doing fine. It's a great one. Thank God for that. And then While I watered the tree, it was about for 2 months. It was very little then, and there were a few others, but some of them unfortunately could not grow, and the rest of it. And it drew my attention as this one became big and it started producing fruit. I can tell you when it is a season. Oh, that's a great one. Charles Bonleb. It's a great thing. This is the first time you're writing to me, so I appreciate. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm grateful for that. Please, for those who are joining me, you can support by liking. So, part of the things this tree particularly taught me, apart from the fact that it drew my spirit into knowing more about nature, loving agriculture, loving nature as a whole, because there is no such thing as understanding that nature itself wants us close to it. And the reason why nature wants us close to it is so we can take care of certain things that it has given to us, and it's definitely going to bless us in abundance with what we want. Charles Bonleb says, I love trees. Yeah. I do not love to tell people that there's an energy close to the tree, there's an energy close to the world, and when you go to this kind of place, because it sounds like, oh, these people are just trying to go extreme to make something out of nothing. Tyler Dundin, welcome. Vivek Vishwa, how you doing, bro? Double tap your screen and show some likes. Allahu Akbar. So one of the things about the tree is that it taught me a few things about life, that the source of us to be able to have abundance, they all dwell in the idea of giving. Thank you, Vivek Vishwa. Charles Bonleb is asking, which side am I from? Says it's from Seychelles. I haven't heard of that environment before, but I'm from Nigeria, Africa. I'm from Africa. So one of the beautiful things is that I realized that nature itself teaches us about giving. And there's a very strong importance in the idea of giving. Shells. And the idea about giving is that when I planted 5 apple trees, okay, Seychelles is in Africa. Trust me, I wasn't aware. I will make a little bit of I'll do a little bit of digging. At least let me know the environments where it is. Please let me inform myself. So what I realize is that when you give to nature itself, it doesn't mean that every single aspect of nature you try to plant a tree or stuff. It simply means all of them are going to grow. But if you can figure it out and plant in the right place and you begin to water it, it is going to grow and become something. And a lot of us today, that tends to be Sunday, some of us kind of ask ourselves, what do we have to do? Most people kind of make sure that for me to be able to have a pleasant Sunday, part of the things I have to do is to join, to unite with people, um, play around, go to church. All these exercises are great. But there are things that you call also the spiritual exercise. And part of the spiritual exercise is for you to nourish your spirit within. But part of the ways you can nourish your spirit within is that you have to do certain things that are very unique to the physical world. And part of it comes to the idea of sowing seed. I do not know what is the exact correlation between planting a seed or planting a tree, for example, and um, and how it nourishes the spirit. I have been trying to figure this out. Okay, this is the first time you're seeing my video. Good, thank God you're already subscribed. So you would always see my video. Just turn on the notification. So I am trying to figure out the correlation between the seed that we plant and the abundance we have in our spiritual side of us. Lo, what do you want? No. No. They're not the house. Oh. Oh, that's interesting. Charles Bonlab is going for fishing. That's interesting. Have a great day. Have a great day. It's a good thing. That even reminds me, same thing applicable. For those people who are spiritually inclined in certain areas, I don't understand what are the correlations between planting a tree, like fishing, all the stuff. I do not understand the correlation between them and something that nourishes your spirit. Maybe it is part of our fulfillment in life when we make decisions that we are seeking for a purpose in our life. Maybe part of the purpose for us to be able to get fulfilled is majorly to take care of part of the things that nature has naturally, because nature itself is natural, what nature has actually given to us. Maybe the purpose behind the consciousness that we have, part of it is to take care of ourselves as humans, because we are more intelligent and we are more conscious than a lot of animals. Maybe the idea is to take care of everything that nature has given to us. But there's a possibility that we are not playing our part. Thanks for joining me, Creed. Thanks for joining. And it seems as if when we don't play our part in life and we only focus in an aspect of life, then we get lost in the source. And when we get lost in the source, we begin to realize that there's something missing within ourselves. And trust me, I know a lot of people who are doing very well in life, assuming financially, they are doing very well in life. But when you speak to them, you realize that there's something that is missing inside of them. And the part that is missing inside of them, some of them have tried charity work, give to the less privileged and the rest of it. And I know there's a gift, there's a blessing there. Chris says not some dystopia. I don't understand. What's dystopia? dystopia. So some people do all these things, but regardless, their spiritual side of them is not nourished enough. And I've done all these things also in the little way I can. But I understand the purpose and the interesting part of seeking after nature, to see the wonders of nature, for us to understand that nature itself gives us a responsibility, and maybe we are not fulfilling that part, some part of the duties that nature has given to us. The possibility that part of our fulfillment in life, while we are seeking for fulfillment and everyone wants to be fulfilled in this or that, maybe part of the fulfillment is for us to do certain things like this. Okay, some science fiction paradise or fantasy. Okay. So nature is nature, not some science fiction paradise or fantasy. You know, I ask certain individuals, when you talk to them, they will tell you they bought this thing that Facebook is selling, and they put themselves in a different zone, metaverse. I'm like, kilo shele. Yes, in the world of metaverse, you are going to be amazed at what you're seeing because you haven't seen them before. You are going to be amazed when you put on the metaverse in your eyes, but the moment you pull it out of your eyes, you go back to reality and you feel the emptiness in your soul. In fact, one of the things about metaverse, when you put them in your eyes, is just like it makes you wonder because those environments are different from the ones you used to see. And after a period of time, once they are off your eyes, you come back to reality. You feel the emptiness within your soul. But the beautiful thing about nature is that regardless of how long those things have been existing, even before we were born, yet all these things are still marvelous. It seems as if they are part of home somewhere within ourselves. It seems as if we get completely fulfilled when we are able to get engaged with the things that nature has given to us. And you know, when we talk about nature, some people think all you have to do is to run into forests. That's not what nature means. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to go into forest. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to enter into mountain. Yes, I understand that those parts also play a role, and their energies are totally also different. But at least you can begin with something. And part of the things you can begin with is having a tree, building trees, planting trees. And the moment you begin to witness them with your eyes and you see that out of the work you have done, you are not the one only benefiting from it, but every other thing flourish through it. It says they are blinded by a lot of stuff, and all those things are BS. Our duty in life is not basically, in my experience with what I've seen, is that our life is not based off only what we can benefit or what we can do for other humans. There's a part of giving that, yes, we have to do it for humans. There's a part of giving that we have to do it for everything that exists in life. Not that we can give to every single thing, but we have to give to the things that we can give to nature. About 4 days ago, the real season of the apples have not really come out. The real season for the apples have not really come out. They are just about to start. And about 4 days ago, when the apples begin to come out, they come out like this. This is one of the apple. And about I think they were about 12 in number that came out, because this is not their season. So every 3 months, apples would just come out. And I didn't even touch them. But what I realized was the birds were just eating them. Though when it comes to the season where they become excess, the birds can't finish eating them. We can finish eating them. We give them to the securities in the estate. We give them to our neighbors. We just distribute, and it's not like there's so much abundance in it. Sometimes I'm like, if we have to sell this, how much we are definitely going to be making. But the idea around it is like, we are not the only one feeding from it. About 3 days ago or 4 days ago, I think I was recording here and I said, this is ant season. There are seasons whereby you go to see ants pick around and eat from all stuffs like this. The experience of all these things, knowing that not just human being that depends on you, but everything around life also depends on you. When you play your part, all these things are going to flourish. Birds can be able to feed. All the circles of life will be able to flow accordingly. If you participate in that part, you kind of feel fulfilled. And I'm not talking about farming. Some people only specifically, when they hear about going to nature, they think we are talking about farming. Farming is a minor thing. The purpose of farming is so that you can feed yourself. That's the purpose behind farming. It is a mini way of viewing things. Are you going to eat organically? Yes. Are you going to be more healthy when you eat organic food? Yes. I'm talking about building nature around you, because when you build nature around you, you ain't the only one that will benefit from it. Everything that exists with you will be able to benefit from it. And that is where the blessing really comes from. Giving to life, giving to people, giving to humans. And it seems that when you're giving to nature, and nature begins to bless you in abundance to it fulfills the side of you that is not conscious. Maybe that is where your spiritual awareness awakens more. No one have to tell you not to be destructive. You naturally just know not to be destructive. Why? Because you are flourishing in the purpose of your life. I could remember this particular stuff we have here. Maybe I would even just turn on my front camera. Just this particular stuff. And everybody knows this. It's not new. That's aloe vera. And most people who know that knows about aloe vera knows that aloe vera spreads and it gets big. But I'm like, don't we always consider all these things to be the beauty of life, that you give to one thing and it multiplies it? You put a small tree in the ground and it multiplies and it will produce thousands of apples. We do all these things and we are not the only one benefiting from it, because I think every single time we focus so much on ourselves, that we are very important, we are so special, and other things does not matter, but we are the king over everything. If we as humans truly have the mentality that we are king over all animals and all things that creep upon the surface of the earth, we should know that the responsibility of a king is to take care of everything within its kingdom. Oh, welcome back, Charles Bonleb. Welcome. You couldn't go for your fishing. We need to be aware that everything we have within ourselves, or everything that life has given to us, if we think that we are the master of all animals, we are the most conscious being on earth, and we always assume that we are king over all creatures, if we think that, then we should understand that we are supposed to take care of everything in our kingdom. And to take care of everything in our kingdom, that means everything is supposed to flourish because of us. But mostly in today's society, a lot of us have the mentality that everything has to do with us. The beauty of the masters who gave us all this mentality is to make us feel like everything is about what we can do for them, what we can do for them. And because we subconsciously adopt those mentality, now the society is all about what can you do for yourself? What can you do for yourself? Initially, it was all about what can we do for people? You have no problem. I will do that, Charles Bonleb. Trust me, I know most of my audience. Even those that are not live, once they come, I know most of them. So you have automatically have included you. I've screenshot your name, so I have don't forget their names and the rest of it. So Charles Bonleb, don't worry about that. So we are all within a particular system or within a particular circle. The problem about us is that we only focus on ourselves in that circle, and we think that we are very special. And every time we think that we are very special, we think other things do not need attention. And that is the programming of our education system. We think other things does not need attention. We deserve all the old attention. And individuality never makes us strong. Every single time you see people who are completely isolated, first thing you start hearing about them is how sometimes people talk about having suicide mission. Some people become bitter and the rest of it. So people are like, oh, mingle with your friends, mingle with the family, mingle with the society, go to the church. And specifically sometimes, regardless of the fact that I understand the games and the manipulation that most churches does or most religious people do, I still allow some people to go to church. Like my families, I allow them to go to church. And the reason is simply because most people cannot function properly without associating themselves with certain things. Charles Bonleb asked a question. He says, am I a fan of football? Bet me I will tell you one thing you would never believe. I will tell you one thing you would never ever believe. You might not believe it, but it's just the truth. Since I was born till this age, I have never watched football. Since I was born till this age, I have never watched football. Now, that doesn't mean that trust me, I used to have a football center. I still have a football center, a viewing center where people come to watch football. I have it after this, my property here. about 30 minutes from this place, I have another property there. That's if I'm actually walking with my leg. If I drive there, it's not going to take me more than 5 minutes. I'll be there. I have a viewing center, and I was always there to monitor the business, my workers and the rest of it. I never sat down to watch football. I know how to feel my own excitement. Um, I see people when they rejoice, but I'm just like, those are their things. I feel something more different when I enjoy life in different ways. One thing is this: when it comes to the idea of experience, sometimes if you're experiencing something and you tell people about those experience, they haven't experienced it, so they don't know what to do. And what they don't know, they can't really understand. Vivek says I look like Dieda Drogba. I think Drogba should be a black guy. I think I've heard of that name. There was a guy they used to call Drogba. It's been a while I heard about his name. Creed is asking a question and it says, are humans evil? Are humans evil? I do not think that humans are evil. And I wouldn't tell you that we are not evil. I think we are capable of good and evil at the same time. But one of the things that makes us human is the idea that we can actually evolve. When the lions eat an hyena, or when the lion kills a deer, when a lion eats an antelope, a lion does not tell a lion that, oh, we are wicked by eating either a baby deer or a big deer or an antelope. Lion never have this consciousness inside of them. The only reason why we as humans can call ourselves and we can say that perhaps we are evil is simply because we are conscious. And in consciousness, when consciousness begins to rise, your unconscious part begins to resist it. And so you're kind of used to a particular way of viewing life. Then as time goes on, your eyes begin to open to certain things. And when your eyes open to certain things, some part of us, that's why majority wants to hold on to a particular kind of lifestyle, and some part of us also wants to evolve. And then we begin to see that some of the things our parents were doing, we begin to see the errors inside of them. And we realize that part of those errors was part of the reasons why they were not flourishing as people. And because of consciousness, we see some things to be evil. And the reason why we see them to be evil is because our conscious part wants to go beyond that, wants to evolve above that. Charles Bunlep says, which sport do you like? I love boxing. In fact, I'm a boxer. I love boxing. I love wrestling. I love jiu-jitsu. Those are part of the things I do. Charles Bunlep is asking, Creed, are you human? Yes, Creed, bro. Evil is part of every human. It is part of us. It is the unconscious side of us. See, let me tell you this. The idea of love your neighbor as you love yourself, all these laws are set for people who are unconscious of few things. And the first thing that most conscious mind wants to do is to tell certain people that we have to evolve. For us to evolve, they have to set a law. Most people would not be conscious if there's no fear. So The word is to tell other people, like, you have to follow this law, you have to preserve this law, so you don't do this. And if you do this, there's a punishment for it. And the consequence is what makes most unconscious people to try and want to become conscious. So the evil part of us, when we talk about the evil side of us, I really don't look at humans as evil. I look at humans like we are ignorant of a lot of things. And our ignorance, when we are ignorant and we are not very conscious, we begin to, we act in a negative way. For example, when I come to live and I'm speaking on live, sometimes I have few audience who would try to insult, who would try to abuse, who would say negative things about me. It has never occurred to me to look at people and just start insulting them because they insult me. Why? Because I understand that someone who is angry and is insulting someone is actually unconscious that there's an energy inside of him, and what he's doing is actually engaging with that energy and fueling that energy to spiral up. For me, it's like, okay, I can see this energy this person have, and I'm so conscious that if I engage with this person, now I am empowering that person to stay in that particular mindset. The best thing I can do is to show the person love. And if I show you love, love kind of overthrows hatred, and hatred become weak when love is being thrown at it. And love is like doing things without expecting anything in return. Insulting me and I tell you I love you, brother, and regardless of what you say, I just tell you I love you, no problem. At the end of the day, you cannot engage anymore with your negativity, and you are forced to look within yourself and to reflect. Charles Bunlep says, if it's okay, I ask, do you have kids? If you go through most of my videos, I have kids. I have 2 kids. I have 2 kids. I have made videos, countless of videos with my children. I'm a family man. I most likely would have been in the Western country or in the UK by now if I am not a family person. I've had too many offers, come to the UK, we are going to take care of, but I don't go anywhere. In fact, about 3 weeks ago, I had an offer of almost ₦1 million to work in a particular state, even within my country. But as long as it doesn't have anything to do with my family is not going to be there with me. I'm not doing it. It's as simple as ABC. I've been able to do well with my life slowly, consciously, that nothing actually, money doesn't freak. Money it's a tool that is needed, but there are more priorities to most part of my life. So I have 2 kids and I love my kids. Creed says, and accomplish nothing but death. Bloodbath. I really don't have more understanding about that. We are somewhat corrupted. If not, we will become God. Maybe the part of our destiny is gogged on how much evil or how much good did we do. Vivek Viswa says that we are somewhat corrupted. If not, we will become God. Maybe the part of our destiny is gogged on how much evil or how much good did we do. The idea of good and evil, all these things based of you see, evil is just a simple term. The idea about evil is like you doing something and that thing is only for yourself. I think you can bring the idea of good and evil, you can bring it to a particular measurement to say that every time we decide to do things just because of ourselves, we end up doing something that is evil because it's not beneficial to other people. And if everything we have to do is to be greedy or to be selfish, then that means we have to take from something and take it for ourselves. Put it in this perspective. When we came to life, none of us came with anything. Slowly, we begin to accumulate few things. And you and I both understand that when we die, we are going with nothing. But a lot of people are so much invested at the moment. And every time you take what belongs to other people and you want to have everything to yourself, and you're not willing to share with the universe, with nature, with the society, with your family, and everything has to do with you and you alone, you most likely would hurt people. Charles Bonleb is asking if I'm a priest. I don't understand what a priest is. My grandfather was a priest. My father was a priest. But I did not pick the religious side of being a priest. I think only what I know is that I have some gifts. I only have a gift. So the gift, I don't see it as a priest. I don't think I'm a priest. I don't call myself a priest, because priest for me, it looks like I am being traditional or I'm being religious. And for me, I'm spiritual. In the idea of being spiritual, there is no identity to it. It is just in the idea of you being spiritual, you are only there to serve the world and to use your gift to serve people. And that's what spirituality is. So I do not categorize myself in spirituality to be in anything, because true spirituality does not have an identity. This is how you know that most religions have issues. And then they start, you see, Jesus' disciples, for example, they call Jesus a teacher because they were learning from him. Jesus didn't tell them that I am your teacher. Jesus didn't call Peter and he says, you are going to be a pastor. Jesus didn't call anybody and say, you are going to be an evangelist. You should be a deacon. You should be this and you should be that. No, he didn't say that. All these things are identity that people just created for themselves. So I'm not a priest. I'm a conscious being. And I think I have some gifts. And my gift is to serve. It's as simple. Hitler ultra selfish. Yes, I think Creed is talking about Hitler, and he says Hitler ultra selfish. Every evil we do on the surface of this earth is basically because of us. When we remove the benefit of every other person and we focus only on ourselves, we most likely will do things that will hurt other people. And so the idea and the purpose of life is for us to share with the world. And this morning when I was speaking, I spoke about suffering. There's an importance of suffering in life. There is no person right here that would tell me that they've been able to be successful and they are being loved by their people and they are being cherished by their community without them going through one suffering or the other. What does it mean to suffer? Suffering is not necessarily what you do for yourself, but suffering is what you put yourself through for the sake of others. And the moment you are willing to put yourself through certain things for the sake of others, you are actually giving your best parts to the world. Some of us are very wealthy. Some people are wealthy and they can have their money, their riches, and they can shovel all that money to themselves. But At the end of the day, for you to mean a lot, you have to suffer yourself in a sense, like you have to come out of your comfort zone and share those resources. This is how you are going to be able to get fulfilled in life. Because if you are actually giving to something just basically because of you are expecting something in return, maybe perhaps you're giving to a woman just so that you can have sex from her, you're giving somebody money so you can buy food, everything still looks like it's about me. And the moment your perception about life is about you and you alone, you cannot serve and you cannot be fulfilled. I haven't seen someone who is greedy and is fulfilled in life. Talk to them. And trust me, if you are conscious, you don't want to be them. Vivek Vishwar says that, bro, there is one old saying, life is like a boomerang. Whatever we throw at others will come back to us. And India call it karma. Absolutely. Charles Bunlep asked a question. He says, he said, you're really a man of thought. That's true. I wrestle with my thoughts. I didn't say I'm a perfect man. I'm a man of thoughts. You asked the question, I think I've answered, but probably when I answered you, you were not live. I have 2 kids, a male and a female, and a daughter. Do I call them male and female? Yes, they're male and female at the end of the day. I have a son and a daughter, and I'm a family man. Yeah, I'm a family man. Life is interesting. So I understand the fact that the reason why I came on live to speak to you guys is I understand the fact that some of us have gone through a lot in life, and we think that sometimes certain individuals do not deserve to get things from us and the rest of it. We need to understand that part of our existence as life in life and part of our fulfillment is for us to give our best to the world. There is no alternative. There is no alternative of what we could do that is bigger than that. Nothing. So as much as we are conscious of that fact, let us try in whatever we have as people to reach out to those who are in our community, those who are in need. You need to plant back to the nature, give nature seeds. Plant a tree if you can. If you can't, I understand. But if you're conscious and you have the opportunity to, do it. Do it. Give back to nature. Nature will take good care of you at the end of the day. Give to those who lack. This is part of the way you can do the work of God. Charles Bonlep says, a husband. Yes, so I am a husband. Vivek Vishwa says, family man with lots of good thoughts. That's simple. Sometimes we kind of ask ourselves a question like, who are we without people? What do we really want in our life? There are desires, there are needs inside every single one of us. But part of those needs, you could decide to enjoy your life, have all kinds of ladies and the rest of it. I'm still a young man. I can decide to have a life that just benefits me. But every time I have seen life for things that benefit me only, it is just so small. It is just too small for me. It's not satisfying. It's like it makes me addicted. It makes people addicted. Maybe not necessarily me, because trust me, I'm not perfect, but I know in my life I haven't done too many wrong things. Wrong things in a sense like I haven't engaged myself so much with things that are not. I can just look at the life of other people and I can learn from it rather than me learning from my own experience. I can look at people's life and I can just learn from it. And I can see that most people who does things just for themselves, they are kind of needy, and they keep trying to fill themselves, and it's never enough. The greatest blessing is when you can do things that touch other people. And so we make decisions to get married. Charles Bunleb says, my father passed one away in April, so it's been hard for me. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. That's a very bad experience. You know, sometimes I don't know if I'm lucky. I don't know if I'm not lucky, but one way or the other, you know, it's good to just see something positive, regardless of anything that happened in life. My father died when I was very young, so I didn't really process. When you are very young and they tell you your father died, you know something is missing in your life, but you may not really process it very well. I started processing it when I started growing and I was in my teens. That was when I started processing what that really means. But when I lost my mom about 2018, it rang a bell. It rang a bell. But the only thing I understand is this. When I was in jail early this year, one of the things that kept me happy while I was in jail was simply because I knew who I was to my children, who I was to my family, and I knew that I was good to them. In no way was I in jail and I said, oh, my children will be happy that I am not around. If your children are happy that dad is not around, now they can do what they want to do, it simply means you are doing something wrong as a father. But I knew that I was doing all my best for them. And the same way when I lost my mom, I knew I was doing my best for my mom. So when she left, when she was late, it didn't hold me down so much because I was able to comprehend the thought that I knew I was doing my best when she was alive and I knew she would be happy. Creed says, I know people who betrayed my father and stole all his hard work money and business, and they enjoyed themselves like scums that they are, and it pisses me off. They also racist as hell. Also another reason I hate them. It's really going to piss you off. Sometimes there is no word that can heal people. Sometimes people have to just experience it. And I tell you, whenever pain is going on, wow. Link to Con. Thank you very much for the $20. Thank you very much. I really do appreciate it. I'm really grateful. So, Creed, you just have to, I'm not going to tell you to run away from your pain for what people do to your dad. I think the best thing you can do is just feel the pain. Feel the pain and ask yourself, what is the pain there to teach you? Because at the end of the day, you wouldn't get the message if you try to run away from the pain or if you try to resist the pain. The pain is not there for you to resist it. The pain is there for you to learn. And if you say it pisses you off, it is basically because you're resisting the pain. You don't want to feel the pain. Feel it. What has happened has happened. You can't change it. But when you feel it and you ask yourself, what is the lessons? The same thing you said about yourself is part of the things that happened to my dad. Everything my dad worked for, people take it away. They took it away. I was very young. And the only thing I did was to look at my dad, part of the way he lived his life, how he had too many friends in his life, and those were part of his friend that poisoned him. And when I looked at it, I'm like, okay, I would learn from his mistakes. And I know within myself that wherever he is, his prayers, perhaps he could pray. His prayers would wish that the son he left behind does not repeat the same mistake, but grow from whatever has happened to him and grow into a better person. And rather, I choose love over hatred. It's as simple as ABC. I'm always being grateful when I see that something, whatever I say, is kind of um, it's kind of, people see the light in it. I'm always grateful for that. That's what actually means a lot to me. Vivek Vishwa says, I see you are young and energetic. Sorry, Charles, bro. I pray for your father's soul. Rest in peace. Amen. Why did you go to jail? Okay. You're asking why I went to jail. In this estate that I reside in, the estate is over 500 acres of land, and we have over 1,000 buildings. And when I bought my first property, I was the first landlord who came here. And as the community begins to grow and grows and grows, it got to a particular point whereby the real estate organization we bought the property from, they begin to extort people, like we have to pay them money for electricity, and we have paid for every other thing. And so they were requesting that every individual pay, and they were extorting a lot of people. People were kind of scared to talk to them. I, on the other hand, there was no point for me to be afraid, because I understand that if I do not speak up, my family would definitely, perhaps I die tomorrow, my family will most likely sell the property because they cannot maintain the property. And part of the contract is not that we are going to be paying you certain money. And so I stood against them. They were so connected. They were one of the people who were working with the former president of Nigeria. They were related to that individual. And I had to stand against them. And because of that, they had to go. I laid a report to the commissioner of police. I brought in the IBEDC, that is the electric people, the IBEDC, to come in. And so they installed meter, and everybody can now pay for what they use. But before then, when they saw I was doing those things, for them to be able to stop me, they had to go to one of the highest place in the law enforcement in Lagos to lay a false allegation that I was trying to kill the organization. I was trying to do this. I was trying to do that. And in Nigeria, the police would not even ask you what happened, because they've paid them. And they came, they arrested me, they took me to jail. They didn't even let me write my statement. They did not allow me to call my lawyer, because they knew they had no evidence. And then they took the case to Federal High Court, where they should have taken the case to Magistrate Court. In Nigeria, there's a lot of manipulation that goes on. So we understand the system on how it goes. So I was in jail. I knew I was fighting for my community. And I came out of jail. They thought I wouldn't be able to come out. I came out of it. A lot of people were supporting me in prayers. Some people supported me financially. And at the end of the day, I get it done. Right now, everyone is enjoying in the estates. And I've taken that business away from those real estate organizations. And these people try to do a lot of things. I have evidence of them trying to, they send talks to me. I've been assaulted, a lot of things. We've been to all kinds of stations before we even had to get to this particular level. But at the end of the day, we have passed that level right now. So that's the reason why I went to jail. Simple as ABC. And so if you want to get property from real estate organizations, sometimes you have to be careful, most especially when it comes to Africa people. Thank you once more, Mr. Link to Earn. I'm grateful. I was in prison for 2 months, 10 days. I was in prison for 2 months, 10 days. How are you? So that was how long. So right now I go to court once in 4 months, and by God's grace, I have all my evidence against the organization, so I'm not worried. I never fought anyone. They said I'm destroying the name of the business of the company and the rest of it. They will call it defamation of character. But defamation of character is when you say something and you don't have your evidence to back it up. I do. I do. But at the same time, I don't pray for them to experience whatever they did to me. They will be offended, but life is life. Right now, they are still oppressing. I have too many videos on my phone. Like, if I upload these things now and you start seeing this particular organization, what they are doing, not just to me, mine is a minor thing, but what they are doing to a lot of people. About last week, I was in station, what some of their workers were doing to other landlords in the estate. They just need people who can stand their ground and tell them, you can't mess with people just because you think you have the wealth. And so life is life. I'm just really grateful at this space of my life. And the most important thing for me is to see that I can touch lives in the small way that I can. Okay, go watch your football, enjoy yourself, go for the fishing. Bye for now. I'm about also to go off live. I will be back by maybe 9 p.m. or 7 p.m. today. I will be talking to the enlightened one to see if he's going to be joining me live. But by 7 p.m., I should be live today. And thank you very much, Mr. Link 2 on and every other person who has joined me live today. I'm grateful. Have a great Sunday ahead, and reach out to those who you can reach out to. This is the biggest thing we can do with our life. Have a great day. Bye bye for now. My family are back. It's time for me to go show them my love, and part of my love has to do with my presence. Adios, amigos. See you next time.